So in this video I'll show you how to assemble the top plates for the MADA 3D printer. There are a couple of things which we're going to insert into these top plates with different functions. The first will be this little bracket here. This is what holds the end stop for your Z-axis. So it's a limit switch, it's a bracket for the limit switch. And then there's these two little stabilizers which will help reduce vibration in the build platform when the y-axis is traveling. It just means you get smoother prints with it. So I might start with this limit switch bracket, and there's these two parts here. One looks like a little skull and the other like a little Viking hat. I'm just going to take the skull and pop the Viking hat into its nose like this, so it looks something like that. And then slot that in those holes there, push that right home, and that's done. So we've got like this. It's the Viking hat just becomes a little cross brace for that bracket. And I'll pop a little bit of PVC primer in there. So that's that bit done. These other two little stabilizers, there's a bit of tapping to be done here. They actually haven't got the M3 tap indicator on here, but or the lettering on there. I'll just use this, a little tapping guide, hold that in place. You can't put a bolt through this one to stop it from spinning, and it does actually hurt your hand. So I'm just going to grab my little shifter here and hold that in place and run that through. Right past the taper. There's two more holes that we need to tap, and that's in these little parts here. These ones do have M3 listed on them, so you've quite possibly tapped these prior. So now these little parts slot together. Flip that up over the other way, like this. And we've got a little grub screw, a nylon grub screw, and that goes into the top here, into that thread. So it's really important that the thread is cut really well, otherwise this little nylon piece sticks in the part. So that's nice and free. You quite often find if it hasn't been cut properly, the nylon part will stick in there and you won't be able to get it out, so you just have to replace the part. We might just do this first. Take that little T, there's a hole in there, or a slot in the bottom. T just sits in there. If I can get that to reflect so you can see, just sits in there. So I'm going to put a bit of the PVC primer solution on the T slot. And on the little threaded part. Just make sure they're seated correctly. And I will sit that aside just over here. I'm going to put that there, just a table protector. And I'll take this piece here, and again the little Viking hat, and the Viking hat slots into that side hole. So again, we end up with just a little cross brace back there, and that slots into this spot here. Assuming that the material thickness isn't too wide. This one. And two. So we just want to make sure that they're perpendicular, which they look pretty perpendicular. That's good. And I'll glue together this other little one here. I'll assemble this one first. Make sure the grub screw slots in easily enough and has a free run while it's in. Which it does. That's very good. Take the battery out again. Put the little T slot in. And a bit of PVC primer. And set that one aside too. So while we're working with the glue, I'll put some at the base of these parts and let those wick in. Remove the excess from the back. Do the same for this one. And the glue should be dry on these ones, and we're just going to assemble this. There's a little post, the little post that's sticking out there, that goes into this slot, but it goes in at the back like this. So if I take that part and goes in the back there. I'll just grab the little M 3x8 button head screw, pop that in there. Fix that in place. That. And I'll do the same for the other one. Into the back of the slot. And last thing to do is grab these little nylon grub screws and put them into the top. And we're done.